The Bolt Carbine just got a 50% damage buff within 10 meters. And in this video today, I want to have some fun to see how it really stacks up against the competition. To really get the most out of this buff, I've gone ahead with a sniper build that favors melee damage out of camo to stack a strong melee buff into the character. Coupling this with the newly fixed shadow stab technique from your combat knife, we get a destructive sniper stalker build that is really a blast to play. In my typical fashion though of upfronting the knowledge of my videos, let me give you the down and dirty here. I think the new Bolt Carbine opens up a really fun way to play both sniper and tactical that is a much closer range character, especially tactical that can benefit from an Auspex scan or the Auspex scan on a parry that further increases the punching power of the Bolt Carbine within 10 meters. Now, I think it's a Do I think it's a top tier meta melter of worlds? No, but I don't care. I bought a game to have fun, and this build is very fun. I've also wanted to bring the sniper into more of a stalker, backstab, rogue style of character, and prior to this patch, you just really couldn't do it. Shadow Stab being fixed and the Bolt Carbine giving you some really strong close range threat has made this an absolutely intoxicating way to play sniper. The las Fusil is still king, of course, but that's because of the gameplay loop that it affords you and the strong soloing capabilities. You'll still be able to camo a ton, but the las Fusil can just destroy things outright. It's worth noting though that the Bolt Sniper's fire rate increase has also stepped up its usability as well. So if you want to go with that, you can. My last point here before getting into the video is that the Bolt Carbine seems to have some sort of auto headshot targeting. I know how that sounds. There's just something about the gun's hit scan or hit box, whatever, that seems to snap to heads way easier when I'm being far sloppier with my aiming than any other gun. This could be placebo, but I'd love to know what you guys think in the comment section below. But what that means is that I'm getting 15% of my ability charge back on headshot kills way faster because I'm bursting my Norris left and right. But that's the too long didn't watch this entire video. I think this build is an awesome, viable, and refreshing way to play sniper that gives you a ton of really clutch and fun moments. If that's all you wanted to know though, please feel free to shut the video down and get back to enjoying Space Marine 2. If you are heading out and you found this video helpful, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as each one of those things does help me out in a huge way. Lastly, I stream this game as well as plenty of others on Twitch every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so click the link in my description and swing on by. But let's get started here on my Sniper Stalker build for Space Marine 2. So before we even get into anything, let's just go over the build real quick. That way, if you wanted to dip, dodge, duck, and dodge. The big things that I'm changing with this sniper's perk tree is we are choosing the Bolt Carbine reloads 15% faster. It's not an awesome perk, but it's the only thing we can go with that fits this actual weapon. And then we're also going with the first melee attack that breaks camo, deals 100% more damage. Now I've heard that this only works on light attacks, but my testing of using it on light attacks and heavy attacks using Shadow Stab, it still applies that 100% more damage on Shadow Stab. So there's that. Let's go into the combat knife real quick. So our combat knife, I use the fencing one because it's the one I like to use. I know a lot of people still say go with the balanced one. It's a personal preference. Choose whatever you like. Fuck off what the internet says. The perk tree, here's what I'm going with. I'm going with the melee damage increase. Each consecutive heavy attack increases melee damage by 3 up to 30%. Melee damage increase, melee damage increase. And then I've got the replace heavy swing with Shadow Stab. Hold the attack button to charge it. Damage increases by 100% per 1 second of charging. This allows me to bring a Majoris from full health to not to execute, which would be awesome, but it's pretty close to it that I can actually follow up and get them down pretty quickly and pretty concisely. A lot of people prefer the shoulder bash over it. If that's what you like when you play with the combat knife, then by all means, always use my guides as a blueprint to approach the game versus, dogmatic Krieg. Please approach this however you like. But Shadow Stab is kind of the bread and butter of how I like to play this game, or play this build, so it's what I'm going with. The 10% damage bonus for both Tyrannid and for Chaos. Then we have over here the power wave forward distance increases by 4 to 8. So whenever you do the whirlwind slash, which is the last slash in the chain for the combat knife. You could theoretically, dip out on this and go for the melee damage against Terminus level enemies increased by 20%. That's just not going to be a substantial benefit for me. I'd rather just have a little bit more disruption with Tide of Battle. So that is our combat knife. Let's quickly now go into our bolt pistol. Just so you know, it's it's a typical bolt pistol setup. Whatever you've got for your bolt pistol, it won't really matter. That's not the focus of what I'm using this build. It's right here if you want it. Max spread decrease. I go for headshot damage. I go for ammo increase, headshot damage, headshot damage. That's what I really focus on. Going into the Bolt Carbine, though, the Bolt Carbine has a really wonky setup here. And I am using the SMG version of the Bolt Carbine. The Bolt Carbine can be either a DMR style or an SMG style. I played with the DMR style, and I think the DMR style is amazing. I'm not knocking it at all. But for the way I'm playing the character, I want to be up close in that cookie jar the whole entire time. This just fits the role a little bit better. If I was playing tactical, the DMR would really lend itself to the tactical aspects I would be taking advantage of, and I definitely think it probably has a better place. I go with the higher ammo, lower accuracy SMG version. You can go with this one. It is the much higher accuracy, and you can see that it's 10 rounds, but those 10 rounds also go into your reserve, right? So you're looking at 70 more rounds in your reserve, which is at this rate about 2 magazines worth of ammo additional. If you're within 10 meters, you don't really need to worry about the accuracy, right? We're just trying to burst things down. So I want as much firepower and as much ammo as I can. And the perk tree lends itself to that as well. So we're going to go down the damage line. Of course, this is against Terminus, which sucks. And this is against Perfectly Dodge, or this is after Perfectly Dodge, but it is what it is. Then we go recoil reduction here. Then we go killing 10 enemies in rapid succession reduces recoil again by 35%. That is actually, realistically now, that can happen very quickly if you're dealing with a wave of Minoris. So this can actually be useful. But the whole point we're taking this is to get us to the next portion, because these top ones of armor restore, I don't really care about those, or health restoration. We're going to go with magazine size increase by 15%. We're going to go with damage increase yet again. We're going to go with headshot damage. Not as crucial. If I was using the DMR one, it would be a little bit more, but it still is going to be helpful here because I wanted to get to this. The max spread decreases by 25% when firing without aiming. So just shooting from the hip, which is very easy to do in this gun, with this gun. And max ammo reserve by 20%. When your health drops below 30%, your ammo reserve is restored by a full mag. Cannot exceed max ammo capacity cooldowns 30 seconds. It's not awesome, but it just is going to get me over to here, which is going to be a further reduction to my recoil. In addition, I can also reload faster. The reload faster perk from the sniper is not that huge, but it is there nonetheless. So this is the weapon. We've gone through all of our perks and setups. Let's talk now about the build and show it off. So putting this build into motion here and having some fun with it, what I really enjoy about this is I struggle with the sniper because I'm using a controller, and using a controller in this game doesn't necessarily necessitate good headshot popping like it does for using a mouse and keyboard. Personal opinion. It's my choice as the thing I like to play with. But what I like about the Bolt Carbine is when I play Call of Duty, I like using SMGs, especially Black Ops 6 really kind of lends itself to tons of SMGs right now. But in general, like in the last couple ones, I really enjoy that style of play. So it fits my style of really enjoying fast-paced, get up in that cookie jar and unloading a clip into someone's face or a magazine to someone's face and just kind of rinse and repeat. And what I get here is the ability to really have strong wave clear, can push through a lot of Minoris by bursting heads left and right. Like, as you see from a lot of this footage, my aiming isn't amazing. It's not really very tight. It's me just kind of lackadaisically shooting. And a lot of the times I'm getting way more headshots than I thought I would otherwise. Maybe it's because of the spread. Maybe it's because of just the sheer amount of bullets that are coming out with the recoil. I don't really know. But it feels like I'm getting a good enough amount of headshot kills that I am constantly going back into camouflage. Now that's another thing about this build. Camouflage is a big centerpiece of it because of the way that one perk works, where it gives us 1% or 100% extra damage. And Shadow Stab does 100% more damage for each second you hold it down. So when you hold it down, you'll see the knife glow once and then it glows again. I don't know if that's supposed to be what the game is telling you is supposed to have been 1 second, but I don't know if there's a max out on it. I just assume the second glow is the max. Now, you can get a second charge in and then unleash it and actually hit them, but you'll probably break camo. So what you want to do is hold it down for like a beat or two, then unleash your Shadow Stab, and it will do a considerable amount of damage, and you'll be good to go to just kind of keep going into melee, or you could probably even jump back into camouflage, depending upon how it all works. And the big thing with Shadow Stab, you're probably thinking, well, things move around all the time. I have to really, I got to hold this down and hope that I hit them. Well, the nice thing about Shadow Stab is it has a pretty huge lunge attached to it. So you can see in some of this footage, we lunge pretty far to reach and grab those shadow stabs and do the damage, and thus putting things into execute, or at least putting them low enough where I can finish them off in close range with a hip fire bolt carbine, with an aimed bolt carbine, or just with more melee attacks. It just gives me a lot more tools in my tool chest as a sniper versus just simply, okay, I'm going to go into stealth to simply shoot something in the head. Well, that's an awesome way to play a sniper, you know, like, the way that the name kind of lends itself to, right? It's just not the way I've enjoyed playing this game so far. It's why I don't have as much fun with the heavy as I do with a lot of other classes. So what I enjoy about this is that I get to have a lot of flexibility as the class. I can still be that character that can go camo, go get someone up, and then go back to doing damage. Or I got hit really hard, I get put into camo, I can be relied on to carry the gene seed because I can just pop into camo and dump aggro. So I still have all that functionality, but now I'm a much further or much closer ranged character that allows me to play a lot more with my combat knife. Now, I need to also be said, I hate the combat knife. In my opinion, it's the worst melee weapon in the game because I don't like the way it plays. I love the way that the chainsword plays, and I absolutely love the thunderhammer. It's the coolest one for me. So being able to use the bolt carbine then on tactical is even more fun. Now, while I did recommend using the SMG version of the bolt carbine on the sniper build, I think that this new damage improvement and the Auspex scan, you could go with the DMR version, the semi-automatic version of the bolt carbine on tactical and have a lot of fun playing it a lot closer of a range, having a much higher punching power weapon that's like, almost in line with a Stalker bolt rifle, and really just kind of be a little bit more run and gun style. And it's very, very fun, and I really enjoy it. The focus of this video, though, is of course on the sniper build here. And with that shadow stab, I think you're going to have to find a sweet spot for what the charge is like for you and unleashing it. And even, moreover, you don't only have to use that shadow stab in stealth. Think of trying to pop out of stealth, or being out of stealth and using it on just hard targets here and there when you don't have stealth up, or it just doesn't make sense to, okay, go back to stealth, go to charge and unleash. Like maybe you just need a quick one shot, like 1 or 2 second shadow stab to kill something, put it into execute so you can finish it off. This is how you can do it. Another big thing about the bolt carbine too, that it affords you is massive amounts of contested health recovery. With the patch of 4.1, bolt weapons have an interesting interaction with the way that contested health works. Now, this has always been pretty present with the heavy bolter. You can pretty much just kind of hold it down and always recover your health. But there seems to be, with the minor damage improvements that were afforded across the board to majority of the bolt weapons, contested health recovers very quickly, especially with high rate of fire automatic bolt weapons. Auto bolt rifle, heavy bolt heavy bolter, heavy bolt rifle for that matter, and now the bolt carbine. So what you can really do is you get hit once or twice, especially in lethal, that can bring you down to like almost 80% contested health. You don't need to get an immediate execute, which is your gut reaction, right? Like, uh-oh, I have 80% contested health. I need to get an execute or a gun strike that kills my Norris to at least get some form of health back. Nope. You have the ability to unload a 40+ round magazine into the face of anything. Just hold down your shoot button and you're going to watch your contested health chunk back up quickly. Will it go faster if you execute something? Absolutely. But at least this is a little bit more of like an oh shit button where, uh-oh, I've got a big amount of contested health and I don't have an execute near me. Hold down the button, especially if you're fighting the Hive Tyrant, a Terminus. Any of those things have high value health. So using the bolt carbine against them just brings your health all that contested health back like immediately. So there's a lot of survivability that's built into this build that isn't as overt as, say, like, oh, here's an outright perk choice that makes you more survivable. It's like, no, the actual playability of this weapon and the interaction point with contested health allows you to stay topped off. You just kind of have to be a bit wiser of a player, you know, kind of have a little bit more pacing, see, okay, I've got the contested health. Don't panic. Don't jump for a gun strike. Don't jump for an execute. Hold down my button and just destroy something right in front of me, or at least just get a lot of shots on to bring that contested health back. Then you've probably gotten the ability to jump back into camouflage by then, because a level 25 sniper can stay in camouflage so much of the time. You pop back into camo and you just go back to hunting things down with your shadow stab, unloading things in the face with Bolt Carbine. It is a very satisfying gameplay loop. Like I said, it's not as strong as the last few still. I'm not going to sit here in this video and tell you that this is the new S tier way to play a fucking sniper. That's stupid. I'm telling you that this is a different, refreshing, and really exciting way to play the class that takes advantage of a buff to a weapon that I've always really enjoyed playing, but it just didn't have the punching power that I wanted. So you can go ahead and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Are you playing around with the Bolt Carbine and do you really like it? Are you going to tell me, hey, you know what? I like your take here, but I really like the DMR version for this style of build, and here's why. The melee sniper build is not a new build, but I think leveraging the Bolt Carbine for a melee sniper build is now something that is actually doable on harder difficulties like Ruthless and Lethal, whereas before it was something that's a little bit, you know, easier to play on the first 3 difficulties. So now it actually can truly contend on that max tier difficulty to have fun and not just feel like, oh man, I'm getting carried because I'm killing like 3 things a match and everyone else is killing everything else. You actually can do some cool damage and have a really fun amount of time to like, there's some really awesome moments I've had where it's like I'm unloading into something's face and I kill it, and then I got a dodge off and then a gun strike and something was ready next to me, and then I execute. Then I went into stealth and shadow stabbed something and got into an execute. And it's just like one of those real cool seamless moments. And those things happen a lot in Space Marine 2. You get in that really cool flow state where it's like a gun strike into a dodge, into a parry, into a gun strike, into an execute. And it feels like a cool flow, like you're just straight up reading a book. So you get those I feel like you hit those flow states a lot with this build that I really, really enjoy. It's kind of, to use the word I used in the beginning, it's one of the most intoxicating things about Space Marine 2 is when you hit those really fun moments. And this, I feel, gets leveraged into that quite a bit. So like I said, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below how you feel about this build. Would you approach it in a different way? Would you use that perk that if you stand still for an X amount of time, it gives you a damage bonus to try to leverage more damage out of that initial hit plus shadow stab? If you've tried that or experimented that, go ahead and let me know. I don't like that perk because it does not fit the way I like to play this game, because I'm just too twitchy of a player. Sitting still for a second and a half or whatever, I'm like, no, nothing. I'll throw my controller. So go ahead and let me know, like I said below. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.